Were
people.
you sort of gifted child?
So yeah, that's why I decided that I need to move, but I need to move for something.
Darina, in 2 years of her career, she was able to get to the position of chief executive officer internally.
So, and you start to thinking creatively, but creative mind and just when you are, I don't know, come with an exceptional idea. It's when you find a different solutions to the problem.
The most creative solutions come from procrastinators who are in the middle of their procrastination. And you were having your student years in Lugansk, entire 4 years, 4 or 5 years.
No, it was only for 1 year because the war came. A lot of Russian soldiers, they occupied a big residential building. They occupied my friends' houses, for example.
And how did you wind up being such a proactive, ambitious person?
You need to start thinking like an adult in this situation. So I started working. We started a small business with my friends with the China companies.
Maybe you can give some life hacks for people who may be just not doing something that they love. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Be Yourself podcast, the podcast on expressing our true selves. Today I have Darina Briu. She's the CEO of DashFight. Hi, Darina.
Hi.
DashFight is the media platform that aggregates news and streams all the stuff related to esports, to games, different games. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Not just esport, it's a fighting games. It's different from esport, but yeah.
So we do not qualify fighting games as esports.
No, it's a part of esports, but it's not traditional one. Like it's different disciplines, different community, different approaches. So yeah, we just we niched media company for fighting games disciplines.
Sounds cool. Can you tell more about your business now? Yeah, about the Dash Fight and maybe something that you're most proud of with
Sure.
respect to your company, because you're a chief executive officer. Once again, guys, Darina is a chief executive officer of Dash Fight. So yeah, please tell us more about your business.
So yeah, if so, it won't be sound like pitch, but but I always used to tell it as a pitch. So
Yep.
DashFight is an esport media company. We own the market for 3 years. We have more than 5 million users for this time, readers, users. And the fighting games market is in revolution right now for the past year and the next years because the major publisher are coming into the market, like Riot Games. It's one of AAA publisher in the world, gaming publisher. They releasing a fighting game called Project L. There was different releases like Tekken 8, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. They selling like enormous amount of copies. After their launch, the record setting in attendance to the tournaments, the prize pools are growing like in 5 times, global community grow by 30%. And here we are there. We started before all these revolutionary things 3 years ago when We Play Holding start a big tournament event in Kiev called WUFO. It was intersection of real boxing, real sport, and esports fighting. So it was one of the biggest tournament in the world related to fighting games with the biggest star in the industry. And people still remember it like the one of the biggest entertainment thing that happened to the fighting games. And around that, we built DashFight as a company that serves everything regarding fighting games. We started with 3 disciplines. Now we have 15 disciplines to cover. Players use us as LinkedIn to prove their career because we collecting everything, every stats, every win rate they had. So they have all the necessary information about their career on our website. We educate people how to play properly in fighting games, how to learn how to play from the beginner to the intermediate and more. We cover events, tournaments, everything that's related to launches of the new game, news, exclusive news pieces. Like it's just not copy paste and news or just press releases. We have a great, exceptional journalist who wrote their articles. We partnership with the other news aggregate to deliver our point of view on the fighting games market. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's what we're doing in a 3 years journey with the fighting games market.
So you've been operational for 3 years only.
No, no, I've been operational for 2 years. I came here as a PR director, PR head of the department. But actually, I work as a biz dev, as a community manager, like everything at all at once because this was a startup at the beginning. But then there was some validational process that company didn't proceed because of there was a big team who worked on development side. So after that, we relaunch all the business process inside the company. So I had my own business vision of the company, and I proved it to the board, and eventually became a head of slash of head of project and CEO. And with my business plan, we're moving on till now and further, approaching all the goals we started, and everything is fine by now.
Yeah, it sounds so effortless, but what you just said, I just want to unpack for our listeners and viewers that in 2 years life cycle, Darina, or in 2 years as in 2 years of her career, she was able to get to the position of chief executive officer internally. So the company was, I believe, smart enough not to look for the CEO on the market, on the job market, but nurtured a real professional, someone who really cared about what she was doing, and you were able to get the position by proving yourself to the board, as you said. But
Yeah. Pretty much like this, but it's just because it was a startup. And the
mhm,
thing is that this is an investment project, so it's not revenue generated by that time.
mhm.
So it was n- not an easy decision, but when the project, half of the team was terminated, and everything was changing inside the project, and it was heading into a completely different direction. So that's why I have this different approach, because the company developing before, like a product IT company, there was a lot of ideas the IT, the RD and development team validated, like different apps we need to launch, different approach on the website we
You
need
mean
to
like
launch.
we play has got sort of an accelerator inside, like R&D
Yeah,
department inside of the business, and they give birth to different startups, and
no, no,
whatever
in
ended.
DashFight, I mean, in DashFight, we develop
Oh,
a whole different ecosystem for the users and see what they like most. For example, like two apps. Do they need apps at all? Like a forum on the website. Would they use this forum and won't use in Reddit or Twitter at all? So this wasn't ideas was validating back in the time, but I came with the idea that we need to go to the media approach. Like we need to develop it as a media and develop as many as possible revenue streams. We need to develop a strong relationship with the stakeholders, with the community. We need to prove ourselves to the community and to the stakeholders and gain our place under the sun with a great business development approach. So with this approach, I came to the board. I prove it, and I start to work it on this without exceptional features developing in the DashFight. So just with the understanding that media market works differently than IT market. So that's how
who
it's.
do you call stakeholders in media market? What is this term about?
Yeah, it's publishers. It's companies that delivers games actually. So you need to work with them directly to get to secure early releases. For example, like we did last year and this year with AAA publisher actually. This is event organizers, and this is the big event organizers. Like
Mhm.
one of the biggest is Evo. If they holding the tournament in Las Vegas,
Mhm.
so for like a lot of time. It's smaller event organizers and companies that work with you on or win-win rates. Like the company that provides with prize pool for the tournaments, company that provides some kind of techniques for the tournaments, or company that you work on a payable basis.
So publisher can be both the corporation that actually produced the game, such as Valve, I assume, something like
Yeah,
that.
But
And
did
you
they?
work, do you have direct contracts with big giants, like big names in the
Yeah,
industry?
yeah, we
Yeah.
had early releases from Bandai Namco. They released Tekken 8, so they are publisher of Tekken 8. And when the game is released, and they need media to cover it properly, so they are given an early access codes to the media that earn it by their work. So we have a proof of record that we cover Tekken 7, that we have a great journalist over there, and we will deliver great review for this game. Maybe not great, depending on how the game is, a truthful
So
release of that.
objective, yeah.
Yeah, but and they give us the code. So I don't know what is that. I don't know what is that. It's not on my side. So the same was with Capcom, with the Street Fighter, with NetherRealm, with Mortal Kombat, with the smallest publisher, but the biggest on the other markets, for example, is Asia, C Games. They produce in great games and in fighting game market too. So we work with them closely to get the press releases, to get their news before everyone, to get their review code before everyone. So we will have more exclusive content for our users, because what we value most is our users, and we work for them. And the main currency is their attention. And for that we succeed, because we have like 16 minutes average weekly for average user on DashFight. It's a great number compared to other esport titles, because people actually read what we offer to them, and they
60
just
seconds
scroll.
sounds like a century
16
in our
minutes,
day and age. It's a lot of time.
16 minutes, no seconds.
16 minutes? Oh my God.
Yeah, 16 minutes. So uh,
16 minutes. Hmm.
so actually, like the scrolling of the articles, it's pretty high, like 85%. And all users are organic, and they are from North America. So to achieve North America organic user, it's quite a challenge. And we did that in the era of like very hard catching attention for the users, and very hard understanding how it's hard to get the attention of the user. Like everyone in the digital market are in this battle for the user attention. And the CEO of the Netflix said that our main competitor is asleep. So because people didn't pay attention when they sleep to the product
Yeah.
that Netflix produced. So yeah, so this is the main thing to win this battle for attention with other media, and to produce great content for people to attract them on a platform.
We're gonna get back to Dash Fight and a lot of stuff that's going on in your organization, not only in terms of deals with your awesome partners and customers and definitely community, but also your internal team, which I'm supremely interested. I'm always interested in the organizational structure and motivation and leadership studies. We're going to touch on that a bit later, but before that, let's backpedal and tell me about your. I think maybe your students' years, starting your students' years, maybe even your school years. Where are you from? I know where you're from, but let's sound it up proudly. Where are you from? And how did you wind up being such a proactive, ambitious person who became a CEO of a big company?
Yes, so I'm from a small city in Lugansk region. They're occupied for 10 years right now. My school years were great, actually. I was a good student. I love to be educated. I love my school. I love history. I love everything that was regarding that. Everything that was in school years was perfect, because it was, for me, it was simple, and my parents are really great
Were
people.
you sort of a gifted child? It
Yeah,
was
no,
easy for you. It was easy for you to crack math and all the studies.
not so easy for the math, but for the other subject, it was pretty easy. Like I said, history, literature, languages, politics. I love that since I was a student. So, and I love to read. This, I think, it's very important. Thing for the child, for teenager to read, because of the reading I understand how the world works, and what I need to achieve to live the life I want to live, because it's a small city, it's a poor
What's the
environment.
name of the city?
Alchevsk.
Alchevsk. Cool. I
Yeah.
have I have a friend from Lysychansk. By the
Yes.
way, guys, we didn't say the name of the country. Lugansk region, Ukraine. Yeah, we're from
Yes.
Ukraine. Both me and and Darina, we're Ukrainians. Uh, yeah. Okay. Please go on. So.
So I think it's essential to read, and so reading would give you access to the world that you don't have when you're a child, both unreal worlds and real world that you want to come eventually.
Yeah.
So, and after that, I don't know why, but I choose the Chinese literature and language to study in university. I came to Lugansk University to study Chinese literature language. It was pretty easy, not easy, but it wasn't so hard, because I think the languages should go with other more harder skills, like as a additional to them. Just when you're learning just languages in the university, it's quite boring. It was for me,
Mhm.
but maybe for someone it's
So,
great.
what was the name of the university?
uh, National University Taras Shevchenko one,
In
yeah.
in in in.
Yeah, it was affiliate of the main one with
Okay.
the red
So,
building
in which city?
in Lugansk.
In Lugansk. So, okay. So, and you were having your student years in Lugansk,
Yeah.
entire 4 years, 4 or 5 years.
No, it was only for 1 year because the war came and
Oh,
the university was shut down eventually, and it was transforming into this kind of republic thing and everything like this. So I need to start
it was
working.
year. Do you remember the year?
2014. I started
2014.
in 2013. I ended my year and the revolution started in Lugansk region in the end of my school, my university year with all of this. And war started eventually.
Yeah.
So there's like I finished it with the war already.
So,
And
guys, for political references for all the Americans and global audience watching us, this is the year when the Russians first occupied territory that didn't belong to them. This is the first time that they came to Lugansk, which is historically and geographically is part of Ukraine. So 2014, and Irina was finishing for her first year in the university, and as she said, she was forced to. You were forced to what? To leave.
no, I was forced to stay because I need to be with my parents, and I stay with them. They're doctors, and they wouldn't leave the city.
They're
They have,
doctor, both of
yeah,
them, right?
they worked for a year, I think, without paying. And you need to start thinking like an adult in this situation. So I start working. We started a small business with my friends, with the China companies. We delivered goods to Ukraine and back. So it was like logistic company with the China. It was like 18 years old kids, and we
How did you
delivered.
sell? Through some social media?
Yeah, social media. It was like still Russian social media back in the days. It was like
Yeah,
really interested starting of the career.
but that's important. So your entrepreneurial spirit, your entrepreneurial habits were in the making, were developing after like first year in university when you started to deliver goods and sell it here to Ukrainians, right?
Ukrainians, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was quite interesting journey. You didn't know anything about business, anything about scaling, like how principles of being in a business, but somehow natively you figure it out. And after that, I get the scholarship in UKU Uni in Lviv for journalistic work because I want to be a journalist. So I moved to Lviv. I studied a little bit for journalist work. Then I moved
So,
to Kiev.
but just let me interrupt you for a second. In order to get scholarships, in order to get a scholarship, you have to apply. So, do you remember how many times did you apply for a scholarship back in that time? Was this
Mm,
like the first time attempt, or you really tried a lot of times to get invited?
No, I was. It was. I thought. thinking it was a first time attempt. Also I work as an English teacher for kids in Alchevsk during the occupation, and
Cool.
I like this job actually, and I try to educate kids about Ukraine because a lot of people were brainwashed back in the days, and it was not just English class. It was like we are Ukrainian classes, so
Yeah.
it was pretty fun. But then I realized that I can't stay in Alchevsk more because occupation, like it's hard to live in occupation, even if the like active war is not happening, but it's hard. So
Can
I
you give a small picture of your memories? Like what was so disgusting for you? What was so unbearable living in occupation? Like you were walking the streets and you could see Russian flags or Russian soldiers, or what did you see exactly?
I can't say it's disgusting because it's my own city. I love it the most in the world, and it's not disgusting for me. I just understand that this kind of disease it happened by now.
Mm-hmm.
But like a lot of Russian soldiers, they occupied a big residential building. They occupied my friends' houses, for example. They occupied one of the biggest, like it was not luxury, but
Malls.
upper class houses, and they lived there. Like, and they tried to destroy a lot of things. They were very like Russians. I don't know.
Yeah.
They have no culture, and the people with no culture are the biggest threat. So you live with the biggest threat, and there was extreme level of poverty because people didn't have money from the Ukrainian government. They still didn't have money from Russian government. So, and it was very hard for me to watch these people, and I try to help in any best possible ways. Like we volunteer, we having like these food trucks to volunteer in Alchevsk to feed the people. So it was
Yeah.
very hard for young person who just started to understand how the world works and want to explore the world, but you are trapped in a poverty and in with the Russian soldiers who are really dangerous people with no culture, and it was just hard to live in this situation
Yeah.
for young person. So this because of that, a lot of young people moved from these cities, and they eventually became very um, deadly one because there are no young people there. Right now,
Mm.
there's people growing over there. There is a lot of young people, but back in the days, almost everyone who I knew moved from the city. So yeah, that's why I decided that I need to move, but I need to move for something, like not just to move in Ukraine. And what it was hard for people from eastern region moving to Ukraine back in the days because of the
Moving to Kiev? Which
moving
city did?
moving to other cities because it was hard to rent a flat. It was hard to find a job, but I figured it out, and I got this scholarship. And this was because of I was from an occupied city too, because they have like it was for the person who started their life from the scratch in
Okay.
the cities. And this course, it was a course that helped me a lot because there was exceptional journalists from all over the world who talked about regimes, about dangerous situation. I even decided that I wanted to be frontline journalist. Uh,
Mm.
I didn't finish up there, but it was interesting way. And yeah, after that, I moved to Kiev, and I started to work as a journalist for several newspapers, but it was like more of influencer style star life covering. I didn't like this. I had internship in L'Officiel. It's Condé Nast. I don't know if it's Condé Nast in Ukraine still, but it was one of the big publisher,
Hmm.
World House. And after that, I finished up in charity because it was a great opportunity, and truly could recommend anyone who just started their career go to charity because charity could teach so many things all at once with the business approaches, with the creative minds, with the understanding of marketing, social media, PR,
You did
business.
some big, well-known NGO, right? With all
It
the systems in
so
place.
well known back in the days. It was just a big NGO for. It was the first fundraising platform in Ukraine. It's
What was the
like
name of it?
uh, it's the Briu right now.
Mm-hmm.
but back in the days it's called Ukrainian Philanthropic Marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like Amazon for charity foundation. You could apply as a charity foundation, you can get funding, you can place your social project and fundraise for it. So it's a very great technical solution. It was very trendy for Ukraine for back in that days, and I started to work as a content manager, but I grew to PR manager, then I grew to art direction, then I grew to marketing manager, then I grew to CMO. So
How
it's
long
like
did it take for you to get a promotion from position to position? Was it happening fast for you? Can you recall?
I was here there for 6 years, but yeah, like year to year growth. But you could have a lot of position just in one. You could be called marketing manager, but you have a business development issues that you need to solve. You need also like even financial things, operational things you need to solve, creative things you need to solve. Like in a marketing manager, there could be a 5 position at once. It's
Yeah,
great for young people who have passion, motivation, and
a lot of
stretch.
energy.
Yeah, I think of course when you are in some stages of your career, it's not so easy. But if you just started and you can have access to the whole world of influencers, companies, stars, even big companies that could work with you on the charity ways to promote your brand, you could promote their brand. And you can't have this access just in the corporate world, but you can have it in the charity world, and and with that you can make a great impact in the life of the people that you are helping.
Yeah, let's know this lesson from Darina that wearing uh, different hats, even inside of one profession, is supremely beneficial. And do I get it right that for a person that comes from more of a creative background, for journalists, we would call journalism and as a creative profession, you believe that the best starting tipping point is actually not a corporate position, not a position in the corporate world.
No, it depends if you want to start a career in corp, it could just take more time than in a
To
charity.
get the skills, so you got all the skills much faster than you would working just in a corporate world, like in newspaper or in a big media company or something like that.
Because corporate world has more money, and every person is in charge for one solution they bring to the table. In corporate world, in charity world, you don't have such many resources, so you need to fulfill everything at once, and you need to find different approaches on the problem that you're solving. So, and you start to thinking creatively, but creative mind, and just when you are, I don't know, come with an exceptional idea, it's when you find a different solutions to the problem. So your creativity is always developing when you have limited resources in the work space. But
Yeah,
it could be a bad thing too in a corporate world, because you could be exhausted after that. If you didn't feel impact, or you didn't feel that you are developing, you're just working as a dead horse. So it's not okay for this kind of work. It's a good if you have a benefits from that. For me, for example, it wasn't a much pay for the like
hmm
corporate world, but I had developing my skills. I had access to great network that I established with the days of my work, and I have an impact because it was important for me to have an impact. It's not just numbers, like in the corporate world you see spreadsheet with numbers, this is your results. In the charity world, you see people who you helped, you see equipment that you bought to the medical stations, you have a child that you help, you have a dog shelter that you feed. So it's like not the numbers eventually. It's
yeah,
numbers in the spreadsheets, but you know the real story behind that. So it's very important
yeah.
was for me, and I think for a lot of people right now, especially with the changing of the world so quickly. Well, that's why a lot of people volunteering now. They've taken it's like their part job. So I think it's a great way to help there. planet.
Andrew Huberman, he's a well-known scientist now. I listened to his podcast with organizational psychologist Adam Grant recently, and they were discovering the correlation between deadlines and creativity. And this is interesting. What they discovered that actually procrastination has got something to do with most creative solutions. Like, for example, if you have a deadline approaching and you are the type of person who procrastinate, and you got this deadline coming up, but you're not super close to the deadline, right? But you're still not in the beginning, right? So you're somewhere in the middle. So
Mm,
they say that the studies suggest that the most creative solutions come from procrastinators who are in the middle of their procrastination, who got not like one day left but a few days, but and you know, like, you get right to the chase. They
yeah.
start thinking and coming up with the best ideas, and that's I think what is responsible for a lot of creative solutions for people who do a lot of work at once. You know, maybe you're overwhelmed. Do you remember being overwhelmed at this
Oh,
position?
yeah, all
Yeah,
the time.
like a lot of stuff, but you still come up with cool ideas.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
I think in a in a proper world, it's a better to have systematic approach, because the
Mhm.
great results may be the results of systematic approach and not the, the precise heroism. Because this thing that you talk about just before, this is precise heroism when you are like in the middle of the burning deadlines and you come with the ideas or solution. But when you have this systematic day by day operation that you need know how to fulfill it in a better way, it's in the future it may come for the better results. There's just one creative solution.
No, for sure. In long term, if you want systemic, systematic, methodological sort of process completion, this is the way to go. Um, yeah, but I'm on board with you that when people not only chase the numbers, they're not only outcome driven, but they also enjoy the process. And maybe you can elaborate on that. It seems like everything that you were doing back then, you were having a lot of fun. Even though you were underpaid, can you say that you were always excited and it was something that really drove your passion?
Yeah, but it wasn't a fun journey, like every day a fun journey. It's not a Disneyland that I come and
Yeah.
like, oh my God, guys, let's save the planet. No, I'm not. We're not a Chip and Dale and things like it was hard working environment with the hard working people who dedicate their life to the charity solutions. We work with the foundation when people work there like for 20, 30 years of their life to save the kids lives or to save some kind of minority. So it was very hard. It wasn't fun at all, especially when you feel the people's tragedies as your own, because you know these people, you help them. It's not just a picture on the screen; is a real person with the real problems. So it isn't fun. It isn't Disneyland. It was hard, and this was dedicated work. And especially, I've stayed there for 6 years, but I know a lot of people who are still there and who work in charity for like more of their life.
Yeah.
So these are real heroes, and I really admire these people because I burn out and I choose a corporate world, but they stay in there and they still feeling this impact. Despite all the problems, I feel the impact. I feel enjoyable. I love my team because this was very close people with whom I was really close. But it's hard work. It's hard, very hard work, especially when you work on the field. Like we didn't work on the field. We work in the digital solutions or with companies. We was close to the problem solving just in some cases. But people who work in charities, who work with people who need help, this is other level of burnout. This is another level of tragedies, obstacles, and problems they may have all the time. It's not like we come to office and save a bunch of kids. No, you come to office and you hear millions of tragedies, and you need to solve that.
Did you know back at that time where were your career going? How did you decide on the next step? You said that you had to change to corporate world. How did you make this decision?
Um, but when I work in charity organization, I have also some project on my own that I developing by myself. It was like I was a producer for big charity event with a star in Ukraine. I working with UNICEF and USAID for the teenager problems with the COVID things, because children were trapped with their parents in the houses and they need help, mental help. And I have my own small company that helps companies to make corporate social responsibility projects. As when you're in a big company and you need some kind of marketing impact on your charity thing. So here I am. I came with ideas how the company could save or help some kind of problem, and they implement it in their marketing strategy, and they become a big PR case. So this everything I done before with my big work in a charity. So it was too much, I think, for me in some of the time, because when you have like five, three, eight projects one at a time, it's very exhausting. So I just feel exhausted, and I decided that I want to have one job and one work that I go every day, and I deliver results in one direction, not in the tenth direction. That's what I choose.
So what was the motivation? The motivation was the burnout. You wanted to have a more of a tunnel vision because you were really really exhausted. That was the main reason why you changed.
I read this mainstream book, Essentialism. It's
Essentialism, yes,
yeah.
by I don't remember. Yeah.
So there is a main thoughts of this book that you need to be focused on one thing. And I understand that never in my life I was focused on one thing. And maybe it's a time to be focused on something that you have one in your life, and you will be succeeded in that thing. And yeah, it's burnout. It's normal thing, because I know a lot of people who changes from the charity to corporate and then come back and then come back to corporate. So it's like never ending journey. So I just decided to try to see how it goes, and it goes well.
And from that point forward, you were on the mission. You were making huge progress, which ended up you being in the position where you're at right now. I'm assume. What would you say the biggest takeaway for you? Like, what would you say, like, for people who are stuck in their careers? And I've spoken to a lot of people, especially in the mid 30s, who realize that what they're doing in life is not something that fulfilling them, not something that bringing joy to their life. And maybe they're not as lucky as you are, because I know you're. It seems like, because I've had some dealings with We Play, that you recommended me to. Thank you very much for that. And I get the vibe of a really very liberal company. And if DashFight is like that, I understand that you have an incredible leadership there. And people who make decisions are really open minded and really understand the value of the people uh, who are passionate about what they do inside of the company, and they give them props and they give them all the opportunities in the world to grow. But for people who are stuck, maybe we even have one friend, mutual friend with you. What do you think? How can you how can you reinvent yourself? What do you think should happen for a person who's inside of this crisis, feeling that what they do at work no longer interests them, but they're they can't leave a lot of times because of the obligations, because of the financial uh, kind of stuff that they need to cover. So, what do you think? How would you behave in such a position, for example?
I think it's a common problem right now in the world. I know a lot of
Hmm.
people who live like that, and sometimes I feel like I'm stuck too. It's normal thing, but then you understand what you want to achieve. Then you reinvented yourself, and you reinvented your goals. So you understand what you want because that's good. That's a great understanding when people understand that they're not on their place or they're not having a joy in their life. If you understand that, you've made a great progress in life because I there is a bigger amount of people who didn't understand that and they can't reflect it on themselves, so they
So
just
they
leave.
they don't even know that there is a problem. They feel like they feel unhappy, right? But they don't know what is the problem. They don't think that maybe the work, the job that they connect their life to is the problem. That's a good point. But you said that you also understand what are your goals. So for you, you always had a crystal clear goal in your career.
No, I don't have any crystal goals in my career. I just always change them for the purpose of life where I'm right now. So right
Mhm.
now I'm in this stage. I need this from my life and from my career and from my work. Like a year ago, I was in the whole different stage of my life, and I need different things from my life. So if this is something that you could have at your current work. So you could understand. First of all, you need to understand yourself. The great this is a working with a therapy or just doing by yourself. I don't know, there is a bunch of free things in internet how to help yourself to understand what you really want, a lot of like strategies and helps. And then when you understand, you need to look around and understand what can help you. Like maybe it's your partner, maybe it's your friend, maybe it's your work. So because you could think like, oh my god, I hate my work, but there could be an other reason. You don't hate your work, you hate yourself because you do something wrong with yourself. So first of all, understand yourself, understand what you really want. Second of all, use your
How wait, let's take a break here. Like what questions do you need to ask yourself to understand yourself? What helped you to understand what you wanted to do in life? Because from your story, it seems like you were always pretty damn sure what you were going to do next. Like,
of course not. I have a
how do
lot
you
of
do that? Maybe you can give some life hacks for people who maybe just not doing something that they love, or maybe in careers that they're not suitable for them.
I know I dream a lot of I like in my real life I go for a walk with the dog and I'm like, oh my god, in 2 or 5 years I want to be in this position, like not in the career position, just position in life. I want to
Can
have
you
this.
can you give an exact specific example? What are your dreams, for example?
um
Maybe
like
from past or from present.
for past I wanted to be a leader. I wanted to be a leader of a company, and when I work in the, like, I don't know, a PR manager for a charity, I was and it was far away from me, this opportunity. So I like going somewhere and dreaming that I will be living near the ocean and will
Oh,
be
really?
really, I was dreaming about that. And I was dreaming about a dog, for example, like simple things that you wanted to achieve. And I just used this tactics not so long time ago, but right now I understand that what kind of person I want to be.
Hmm.
And when I wake up in the morning, it's like it sounds very Instagramish, but just bear with me. When I wake up in the morning, I have my routine, and I understand, will this person from the future who I want to be will be doing this routine, like she will go and make a sport, or she will stuck in the phone and will be reading a Twitter
Hmm.
or LinkedIn or something.
Yeah.
She will eat healthy breakfast, or she will go and just drink coffee with a cigarette. Or like what this my future self, better future self that wanna feel great, wanna live great life will do today if she wanted to be like that in the
Like, so
future.
you're asking yourself what your future self would want you to do now to get to the future like she wants.
It
Okay.
didn't work every day, but like I started this not long time ago, and in the beginning of the week, I wrote a plan with and what I need to go to have my goals, to have future me satisfied, and because like it's very banal thing, but the only person that keep you from your best life is you. And if you have anxiety, for example, or you're unhappy, you just need to write down the things that you can control and things you can't control. The things you can
Mhm.
control, you can let go, and things you can control, you work on this with a plan. This is like very simple line. It's like how you want to have a perfect apps. Just go and do it. The same here. Like just go and do it. So so I think you need to work with yourself to understand what you want. Back to our team, you need to look at your environment and understand how you can have benefits from that, from whom you can have a help, like from your friend who could recommend you to a better job, from your partner who could teach you something that you don't know in like position that you want to achieve, to your manager who could help you and make your goals for the future, for the future work or career goals, and you could go with this company in the future and fulfill these goals and have better raise, better place to work, like something like this. You need to communicate with the world, with the environment, to understand how you can help yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, you can breathe breathe out because we're not in a rush, Darina. But I feel that you have a lot of stuff to say and you have such a rich experience that definitely a lot of people need to hear. I feel that um, the questions that we need to ask, like you said, one of them is what you can control, what you can't control, and Tony Robbins identifies three main primary questions that every one of us should ask ourselves. He always says that where focus goes, energy flows. So you create the world around you by what you're focusing on. So even right now, me living in Kiev, I can be focusing on missiles and rockets flying above my head. Instead of that, I'm making a choice, conscious choice, to focus on how I can help um, people around me to become better. How I can help with my knowledge, with my skills, with whatever it is. And these three questions is: first, do you focus on your past, your present, on your future? Do you focus on what you can control or what you can't control? And do you focus on what you have? And I like this one a lot. Do you focus on what you have or do you focus on what's missing? Because a lot of people are focused on what's missing. I don't have this. But guys, look around and just be grateful for a lot of stuff that we take for granted. And I don't think that ever something is something that we say might sound romantic or Instagramish, as you said. I think that people are stuck in this agenda of being too professional or too smart, or I think that we need to speak more about stuff that really touches to the bottom of our heart, and being more romantic and naive, you know
Yeah.
talk about dreams and talk about love and how we value people around us is something that's going to save this world. If not that, if not love and beauty that's going to save this world, I don't know what will. Definitely not the armed forces.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's get back to your business now. Um, yeah, I think I want to hear about your team. How many people do you have on board, and what are the things that you're most proud of when we talk about your team?
Right now there are 20 people, and I'm proud all of them because they're very responsible of what they're doing, and I don't need to manage them, I don't need to control them, I just need to lead them. So it's amazing thing, and I just understand it recently that I never do this, like single management when you came and like, oh my God, what you're doing, you're all doing is not right. You just need to
Micromanagement, yeah.
have, yeah, I'd never micromanage them. Like maybe in the beginning of the process, I just want to be sure in some process that I didn't understand, but it wasn't like a micromanagement. They have a lot of freedom, but they use it very wisely because like we're all remote, so we don't have a place to work. We have in Kiev, but people like usually don't use it. But in remote work is very hard because people like, oh my God, I'm a dentist at 1 p.m. or I'm in a podcast at 2 p.m. Bye. So it's like it's like very hard to control people, and I don't want to do that. So they are very responsible for their own work, their own
Mhm.
area of responsibility. The amazing thing that they all grow in there. For like example, we have content scout. It's just a copy paste job. Like you need to find information and add it to the website. But
Mhm.
the guy, he developed himself to the head of YouTube just in like 1 year because he was very talented and he started to prove that he's talented, and he started to take what wasn't his job at all. He like, okay, I do my copy paste job, but I also love this discipline and I know a lot of things about that. I could write a script for YouTube, I could make a post about that. Like he started to take in responsibility for things that he didn't need to do. But we mentioned that, and we started to give him more and more, like of course with the race, more and more responsibilities, and a lot of people
Yeah,
a lot,
for
a
my
lot
Instagram. Yeah, yeah. So
and we started working with influencers and give them a script from like they need to voice over the script for YouTube, and they all choose in his scripts because he's a really talented guy. And eventually he like, I could do that, I could do that, I know a strategy for the YouTube shorts, I know the strategy for this YouTube video. So he's very, not just talented, he's very creative in a way. He is he like to learn new things, he like to understand new things. And I
yeah,
must say, like almost everyone at our team like here, like they want to take more and more because people just not working for pay, for like for paying. They're not just working in an hour they need to work, they're working because they believe in the product. And this is a great thing to put amazing product in your CV, amazing link in your CV in the future. And they're all working for future with them because because they understand how much they earn in the terms of responsibilities and in terms of experience.
yeah.
So almost everyone with whom we start working 2 years ago, they was like, there was a girl, she was just a designer, UX UI designer, and now she's the head of a product and she leads the R&D team. She know everybody and everything about R&D. She know how our users read our website. She knows how to implement new features for them. So she took these responsibilities because she liked that, and she eventually grew to this position. And in her future, she could look for the better position, not for just like designer position, but with a lead position because of her responsibility. So yeah,
Yeah.
they're responsible, they're creative. They didn't control. They don't need control. On some stages, of course, we have like weekly meetings with where I check the temperature and what everyone is doing. But there is no like daily stand-in. I hate them. There is no retrospective. I hate them because you just spent 3 hours with the task you didn't need to hear. The better is like one-to-one with the managers from their department, sometimes one-to-one with the with the other position. They, and you need to hear how they manage with their manager, but not like when you gather everyone for 3 hours and everyone just like, oh, I'm fine, bye. So yeah,
You know,
something like
Darina,
this.
I have a marvelous track record of beautiful women on my podcast, and you are just an amazing addition to this list. And I want to share something that I heard not from one, not from two, not even from three of them. They're all successful business women. For those of you guys watching, you can check my podcast for other episodes. But I hear this common theme that sacrifices are inevitable. Sacrifices are inevitable, and I think Margaret Thatcher or someone said this quote that as a woman in business, you have to get used to a thought that you will disappoint someone, either in your personal life or in your professional life. At the same time, and I'm slowly getting to my question, but at the same time, I heard that, and I had this lady Jane on my podcast who actually made a system out of her relationships based on her business experience. So it seems like her relationships is a project. So, and here's the question where we slowly transition to your personal life. Uh, I checked your Instagram. You have amazing photos from your wedding. You have such a beautiful couple. I want to ask you, how do you, yeah, how do you balance between professional and personal life? Are there sacrifices? And do you bring something from your work to maybe your relationship?
I don't have kids, so I don't think I'm a good source of sacrifices because I don't have bigger responsibilities, because when you're a mother, it's like enormous responsibilities that you need to hold and also your work. So it's like a
Yeah.
different level of sacrifice. But with a relationship, if you are with the right person who values you, who is independent and who values your independency, it's just you don't need any sacrifices. You just need to live with that. If you have problems, you communicate about these problems. And like in the business, in the relationship, in any kind of relationship, communication is the key. Is I'm not talking like for this endless 2, 5, 10 hours talks about and nothing. I'm talking about like problem communication. If you have something that you need to discuss, you go discuss it, you find solution. You don't speak a problem language, you speak a solution language if you need to have one. And this is a key to success to a normal, healthy relationship on the workspace, in the friendship, in the love relationship. So in your parents' relationship, you need to communicate your needs, you need to communicate your problems, and that's how you will solve that. So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't have any sacrifices because, as I said, we all work remotely. For now I don't have office. Maybe in the future I will have, and maybe it will have like other kinds of, I don't know, like problems, but obstacles you need to find a solution to. For example, like who will go out with a dog, and so some kind
Yeah.
of these very like small problems. But I think women who have kids and who at this like second full-time job, this is a whole different level. And in a business, it's very hard for women to still. It's very hard for women to be in a business, in any kind of business. I just had my own podcast with women about fighting games who are professional players, and. FGC fighting game community is one of the nicest and friendly communities in the world because they're all very understanding people over there. But even in this community, they still have problem with women. Like when women go into the tournament, they still judging her like, oh, it's just a girl. Uh, and I'm sure the same thing happen and always will be happening in the business world. Like in this movie Barbie, Ken asked like, is there a patriarchy? Yeah, it's still, but we hide and it's better. So like the patriarchy is still hiding better. And
Mm.
it's still the issue in the business world. But regarding the sacrifices, I don't think, I'm sorry, my dog
Yeah. Can you
decided
show your dog?
she decided to play a game with me. But like this is a sacrifice.
What?
So so
Okay.
yeah, so I don't think I'm a good source to talk about sacrifices because I don't have a kid.
Yeah,
With
but at the
kids
same
it's
time, you're able to roll with both business life and with high ranked position in business, and still be present, be there for your man. And you see what you said, and I really liked it. that you focus on the solution. You don't focus on the conflict. You don't focus on the problem. And I think this is a good lesson for a lot of us in relationships, in any communication, where we want to lay judgment on each other. Who's guilty? Instead of that, how about we focus on can we really resolve the case, resolve the situation? If it's like who's taking out the dog, or I don't know who's responsible for our website shutting down in the middle of the night. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Some philosophical questions as we wrap up. What is the definition of success and happiness for you?
The in
You
every
can take a minute. It's
different stages of life, it's different definitions. Right
Mm,
now I'm in a stage where the same for the happiness and success is calmness, because when you feel calm, when you feel, I just watched the video with Yuval Noah Harari, and he said that the problem of our world right now is excitement, because excitement is not okay, like in a long-term thing. And the
yeah,
great boredom, because boredom is peace. So for me, the success and happiness is like this small level of boredom with a little bit of excitement, but eventually it's go to calmness and peace. So like peace and calmness is fine. When you stress out, when you're too excited of what you're doing at your work and you're overwhelmed with everything,
you
for
can
me,
sleep. You can fall asleep quick because
yeah,
of that.
for
Yeah,
me, at my stage of life, it's not okay. But for someone, it's a great way of success and happiness. It's fine with them, but not for me right now. Right now, I define it as calmness, as a normal read of life, when you have balances and everything in your
yeah.
life, in your partner life, in your just normal life. So it's, for me, it's happiness. When you are a little bit bored, but eventually it's just lead to calmness.
It's a very good point. I like it a lot, and I have like a student. She's super excited that she was recently officially hired by Genesis into PR team, and she passed her probation that took 3 months. 3 months to pass probation. Yeah, and she's super excited, and she was describing why she's excited, and I was closely listening to the words that she was saying. She said, "Everyone's are so active. Everyone's working so hard. The entire office is like it's such a professional atmosphere. Everyone's making decisions." And I'm like thinking to myself, "You're 21 years old, and good for you that you can
Child.
work in such a high pressure environment, which we both know Genesis is." But for the people who really want to take care of their mental health, and I think it's a must for all of us, I don't know, maybe I'm 33 now. I think maybe at 30 years old, it started to be a problem for me. But for younger kids nowadays, I think they become overwhelmed and have mental problems even earlier, right, in their life. So don't ever be afraid to take some break. Just just rest. Rest and calmness and peacefulness. Oh my God, I mean you're like reading my mind. This is something that I need and we all need as a species, because
Yeah.
the amount of the entertainment and everything is growing, and we just sometimes we just need to um, quietly sit, you know, in silence. Okay, Darina, can you leave us with? We're gonna wrap this up. Maybe you can give like last words, some sort of motivation, or uh, I don't know, something that you want to leave our audience with for Ukrainians or people who are trying to higher rank in their career, who want to reach a lot of different stuff in their life. Like, what can you say to all of us?
I don't know that I'm the right person to tell that, because
You're the
maybe
right
it's
person. I'm asking
important
you.
syndrome, but I don't think that I like my words will be values for someone, except for people who ask my advice. So I don't know, like maybe that I said before, learn what you want and use your resources to be the person who you want to be, and don't rely on the images from social media. Rely on something that inside you, and this calmness and peace that you want to achieve from yourself. If you truly do want this position or this car or this house or this someone, or just someone show you that, um, and you fell for that without really knowing who you are. So this is most important thing in life, I think, in every stage of life. Even you're 21 years old who are very excited for her first big job, and it's great because it's really exciting and it's something you could remember for all of your life. Or you are in your mid 30 that you want to achieve more peaceful stage of life. So it's for everyone, and you need to ask yourself questions like, I don't know, oftenly,
Yeah.
to understand who you are. Meditate, maybe. I don't know. I don't use meditation, but I think it's a great resource for for understanding yourself. But
Yeah.
yeah, try to do
Hey,
all
thank
this.
you so much. That was great.